The Horse War, also known as the Dracul-Ferencian War, was a conflict between Dracul and Grand Ferencia. Several nations had declared war on Dracul in defense of Ferencia. The Eltham trade company Aristius and the Nova Ascarian Republic had stated their willingness to support Ferencia militarily. On the 23rd of July 2021, Fort Earnhardt, president and member of the New Moon Company, Luke 1 US, was traveling close to the territory of the Dracul embassy, present Grand Ferencian territory, when he got on his horse, named Franz, stuck inside the water, and went to go and get a lead to retrieve it. It was at this time that player Stickman Prime saw the horse along with one other player and Grand Ferencian spy, Grizz de God, and stole it, taking it back to the embassy. Knowing that the men of the New Moon would soon come to retrieve the horse, Stickman made the decision to get rid of the evidence and kill the horse in the presence of Grizz, who then alerted New Moon to the killing of the horse. 6 men from New Moon headed over to the embassy and demanded compensation for the slain stallion. This was refused by Stickman, who claimed that he instead let the horse go into the wild. As a result of this, a skirmish broke out and Stickman was killed and looted, with New Moon retreating back to Fort Earnhardt. After this, Stickman gathered a force of men and attempted to raid the fort. Their first major attack was repelled with numerous casualties on the side of Dracul. After this, many more guerrilla raids took place against the fort and multiple New Moon men were picked off. In a public announcement, Lord Corgi officially declared war on the Grand Ferencian Republic. According to the declaration, Ferencia violated a non-aggression pact between the two nations and accused Ferencia of blaming Dracul as the aggressors when Draculian forces came to defend its embassy and citizens. Soon after Dracul's declaration of war, several nations immediately declared their support for Grand Ferencia. The Eltham Trade Company, Aristios, Nova Ascoria, and Plagatia declared war on Dracul. The Similami Empire announced their support for Grand Ferencia, but later clarified that it was not declaring war on Dracul. Aristios would later rescind their declaration of war due to the toxicity and stupidity of this conflict. Sarlishian Silver Dawn, aka the Silver Captain, released an ominous statement that called on the assembly of all pirates of Barbossa. He would later release another statement saying that despite the rumors, Barbossa would not be assisting aside for now. Henrik B. Pierre of the Confederation of Garchetos declared that Garchetos would be in neutral countries, citing their pacifist policy as the main reason. He would also call for peace talk to commerce between Dracul and Grand Ferencia. Gary, Emperor of Varantorum, condemned both Dracul and Grand Ferencia, saying that attempts at reconciliation from the leadership of both sides was unable to stop the outbreak of a war that, in our opinion, will be a bloodbath and lead to the pointless loss of life for citizens who had done no wrong. He also called for Dracul and Grand Ferencia to release all evidence and not take territories from either nation. Ilnur Almiria of the Dracaean Concordat released a statement offering to mediate the conflict between Dracul and Grand Ferencia, and also opened talks to establish the rules of war. The sexy Canadian announced that Tortuga and its allies would back Dracul and protect it, while Uraka promised to send peacekeepers to the northern provinces of Dracul. The Battle of Fort Earnhardt was a decisive victory for the forces of Dracul. Though strongly defended, the volunteer forces backing Dracul constitute what was at the time the largest military turnout in the continent's history, anticipating major attacks led by the ETC. A large majority of the force stayed in the Dracaean capital of Dragon's Point. Regardless, the forces within Fort Earnhardt were soon overwhelmed and the settlement was sacked. Just 30 minutes before the start of the war, the city of Goldenville declared its independence from Dracul, hoping that distancing itself from what was thought to be a doomed war, they would be able to avoid any destruction within the town. However, this turned out to be the opposite case. A small contingent of Barbossan forces, led by Goldenville's former mayor, Philly Killer, traveled to the town, killing anyone they could find. Following this complete loss, the ETC completely dissolved, with all nations on its side denying involvement. Dracul annexed a small strip of land surrounding the embassy outpost of Catullus. In total, there were 0 deaths on the side of Dracul and 11 deaths on the side of Grand Ferencia. Thanks for watching and please subscribe. It's free and really helps out the channel. Thank you. Peace out and goodbye.